Wisdom, phronesis, is the knowledge of what things must be done and what must not be done and what is neither, and leads us to appropriate acts, kathekonta. Within wisdom, we'll find virtuous qualities like soundness of judgment, circumspection, shrewdness, sensibleness, soundness of aim, and ingenuity. Self-control, sophrosune, is the knowledge of what things are worth choosing and what are worth avoiding, and what is neither. Contained within this virtue are things like orderliness, propriety, modesty, and self-mastery. Austis dikaiosune is the knowledge of apportioning each person and situation what is due. Under this banner, Stoics placed piety, giving gods their due kindness, good fellowship, and fair dealing. Bravery Andrea is the knowledge of what is terrible and what isn't and what is neither. This included perseverance, intrepidness, great-heartedness, stout-heartedness, and industriousness. Approach life in this way involves a complete revolution in our thinking and attitudes. We must stop believing that happiness consists in things and realize instead that it consists alone in virtuous living. When we put external things ahead of virtue, we separate our individual nature from the universal one that connects us all together. Toxic emotions arise along with anxiety and isolation. Contrary to popular opinion, good and evil don't reside in the things we desire or wish to avoid, but only in our own thinking and beliefs and the decisions and actions we take because of them. Epictetus, the great philosopher and former slave, urged his students to focus only on their reasoned choice. Ability to use our reason to choose how we categorize, respond, and reorient ourselves to external things and events. These external things, from a moral perspective, are indifferent, neither good nor bad in themselves. Only the value we ascribe to things and how we exercise our reason and choices around them makes anything good or bad. Left unchecked, our desires and aversions, when governed by false beliefs, give rise to toxic emotions that cause us great unsteadiness and suffering in life. How we put virtue to work in each case should be our sole focus. Epictetus summarized it this way: the essence of good is a certain kind of reasoned choice, just as the essence of evil is another kind. What about externals then? They are only the raw material for our reasoned choice, which finds its own good or evil in working with them. How will it find the good? Not by marveling at the material. For if judgments about the material are straight, that makes our choices good. But if those judgments are twisted, our choices turn bad. When we keep externals in the proper perspective, we gain a steadiness, eustathia, that helps us along life's way. In the real world, we all have things we need and duties and obligations that arise from our family relationships and vocations. Zeno was the first to divide these externals into what he called preferred and dispreferred indifference. What he meant is that while they don't have intrinsic moral value, they form a kind of second class of value that is an important part of our lives. Things like health and wealth are to be preferred over sickness and poverty. And if we are lucky enough to have them, they can be a benefit to us and others as we pursue a virtuous life. But like many of the things in life, health and wealth are often fleeting, and much of what happens is beyond our control, and as Epictetus put it, is not up to us, to auk hemen. We must always remember that the only things that are up to us, to hemen, are how we exercise our reason, form opinions about the worth and truth of things, along with the decisions and actions we take in trying to do the appropriate things, kathekonta. No turn of fortune, however difficult, can keep us from virtue and the steadiness and happiness it can bring. Antipater, the fifth head of the Stoic school, worked hard to bring this practice into everyday life. His formula for virtue was in choosing continually and unswervingly the things which are according to nature and rejecting those contrary to nature. For Antipater, it was all about making sure our self-interests wouldn't override our moral compass. He was the first to emphasize the importance of marriage and family, to stress the importance of ethical dealing in business, and to highlight how these choices form the basis of a strong society. How working together for the common good is a primary duty both at home and in public life. This practical everyday ethics would gain further definition by Antipater's successor Panaetius, who would develop an extensive role ethics and share it with Roman elites through his relationship with the great general and statesman Scipio Aemilianus. Palladius expanded Zeno's rule that we should be involved in public life by writing what Cicero would later call the greatest work written on duties, a kind of manual for the rising young leaders in Roman society. Like Antipater, whom he would succeed as the head of the Stoic school, Panaetius emphasized our duty to act for the common good and not just personal gain. He believed we all have an innate desire for leadership, and while we can't all be the brave Scipio on the battlefield, strive for a greatness of soul megalopsuchia that endeavors to bring benefit to others in whatever capacity we serve. It was a timely message in a corrupt society that was becoming overrun by self-interest and the use of military and public office for personal enrichment, and it was an ethical model that gave Stoicism influence at the highest levels of Roman society for the next 300 years. One of the biggest mistakes about Stoicism is to miss its positivity and joy. The Stoics weren't bereft of emotion, they just wanted to eliminate toxic emotions and replace them with good emotions. Eupatheia, which included rational wishing, boulesis, as opposed to blind hope, rational caution. Eulabeia, as opposed to blind fear and positive emotions like gratitude, Eucharistia, joy, chara, and love for others, philostorgia. The bedrock of Stoic philosophy is an optimistic view of the human personality. We aren't born in sin or hopelessly corrupt and without any means in the battle of life. We may face bad environments and obstacles along the way, he wrote, but it's no different than how the confining rules of poetry give the art its beauty, or how the compression of air by a trumpet's pipes creates a beautiful sound.